I was always this extreme professional, and in the end it didn't fit anymore.
If a player doesn't want to win even when he's warming up, that's not a player for that team.
And then this was the moment and the season I was like, I got enough, I don't want to, I work so much, I don't get anything, I don't get any title.
It was the weekend of momentum switches.
Ball across to Dylan, now he's double in flight, oh, what a start!
Ooh, into the net.
She does it again!
Yes! Van Dijkenberg are the champions of Europe! Oh, something here, she has a game! Surprise the keeper! What a comeback!
Episode number 7, and it is time to talk handball again with myself, Ben Kunkel, and I am joined by two great hosts once again. On the one hand side, I think it's that direction. It is the guy with the most beautiful legs in all of Denmark. At least that's what he thinks. And, Mr. Winter is coming, but I'll call it 22 degrees in the mid of October, end of October. Victor Thomas, hi guys, what's up?
Hello. How are you guys?
I'm good. And you guys?
Yeah, doing so far so all right. But that introduction from you, Martin, with the prettiest legs in all of Denmark, I actually got that from your Insta stories. You got to tell us about it. What does modelben mean whenever you're on a plane, on an airplane?
It's just mean that when you have really long legs, beautiful long legs, and model and then ben in Danish are legs, so it's actually just means model legs because my legs are so long that they need the emergency exit. I cannot fit in a regular seat, so yeah, it's basically just a joke about it's just a joke about me always getting the emergency exit because talking with the stewardess and saying, oh, I had a knee surgery and I don't feel comfortable sitting in the regular seats, and then I end up getting the emergency exit, and so that's really nice.
You are basically crying around, right? Oh, I'm so poor me.
I'm so tall. I have so beautiful legs. I always need the emergency exit. Victor, that's not a problem that you need to stress around with, is it?
Actually not. But of course, in the last years of my career, emergency exit, of course, was mine. It's when you are a veteran in a team, you just have to make yourself respect to the other guys. I was sending DKM back to the short seats, but now I think it's a different story.
Yeah, that's totally fair. But we do have a guest yet again today on the show. And I do think that she had a lot of respect in her teams wherever she played as well, because she has won it almost all. She was one of the greatest players to enter this stage. She was the best player in the world, and we do have her in the show today, right now. Eduarda Amorim, welcome to the show. Nice to have you around.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's really nice to be here chatting a little bit about handball. So yes, thank you for the invitation.
And where are you calling us from?
Actually, I am in Norway, in Kristiansand. I am at Katrin's Lunde house. So she got the respect, as you say. For sure, she got the emergency exit.
And you too.
I got in the end, first it was Gorbet, of course, and after it was me in the end of my career, so that's good.
And when you had a tough moment in your career around the 2014 time when your ACL was torn, did you at least then get the emergency exit?
Yeah, I was in Brazil most of the time, but the girls were helpful somehow. At least they were like caring, and sending message. But I didn't get the chance to travel so much with them back then.
Yeah, well, but that's all right. Now you don't either, because it has been a little over a year since you left the handball stage. So the first question has to be, how is it? How's life after retirement?
It's very good. I cannot complain. I don't miss handball at all, so it means it was the right decision. Actually, I just miss, for example, when I watch Final Four, of course, you get this feeling like the girls got the gold yesterday in Pan American Games. Also, you miss these moments, the titles. But in general, everything is going well. So yeah, I like the new life. Of course, it's a lot of adapting. It was a lot of changes for me. I am in a new country. I become a mom. You had to find a new role, let's say. So maybe the first few months was a bit strange, but now I feel quite well.
New life, meaning what are you up to these days?
Let's see, a little bit of everything. So I become an agent. I'm partnered with an agency, sport agency in Austria. So I'm helping a few players to get better contracts and maybe better opportunities. I'm also now I got the invitation from the Macedonian national team because I'm currently living in Skopje. My husband is from there to be the second coach of their national team, women national team. So this is another role. Sometimes I also comment some matches in the NOC, Brazilian NOC. So a little bit of everything. I'm still connected to handball and to sports very much. I'm also part of the Brazilian NOC Athletes Commission, Steering Committee, International Olympic Committee, Athletes. Yeah, so I am a little bit of everything. And mom, I think that this is also a good job.
How can you say that you don't miss handball at all, but then all of your life is stacked with handball?
That's my way of fulfilling. Maybe I don't miss the training itself. So that's the way.
She just came to the dark side of business. She is another agent in the house.
Oh, but we are concurrents now, huh? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so no clues or hints are being shared around here, around this stage, or
you should ask her. You should ask her what she's doing in Kristiansand. Maybe she's negotiating for some players.
All right.
You never know. You never know.
I'm just gonna go for that journalistic, very important question. What are you doing in Kristiansand? Are there any players that you're looking at right now?
Well, I think it's in general mostly networking. So there is not a big secret of my visit here. I also just want to enjoy and see some old friends. I have played with Katrin, I have played with Jana, also with Karema. So I think that this is, there is a little bit of work on this trip, but it's much more leisure.
And when you are talking about you did go away from handball and you don't miss the trainings and stuff like that, did you ever stop following handball? Well, I mean, right now you obviously do follow a lot of handball and you do watch a lot of players and a lot of games. But when you first stepped off the court, when you first retired, did you actually need a break from handball?
No, because, in my last year of Dior, I didn't want to see handball at all. It was a moment that it was not my best, let's say. That's maybe one of the reasons I changed to Russia in my last year. So I finished in peace with handball. I was loving handball, so I didn't need to have this big break. Of course, I was traveling a lot and enjoying more time with family, but I think that let's say May to September, I was a bit off, but mostly because I was enjoying. And then after I start to follow again.
But now that you mention it, at the end of your career, after being for so many years in first in Macedonia and after in Győr, you decided to make a change to go to Rostov, to Russia, and then you lived this situation, with the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. As a player, how was it? This uncertainty to see, okay, what's going to be about the competition, what's going to be about me, because then you ended up going to CSM Bucharest. How did you leave all that situation?
Yeah, this was a bit, of course, it was not easy because since they had the situation of the war, I was sure I didn't want to stop my career in that situation. So, and that's why also I spoke with the club that I wanted to finish my career with the chance of playing Champions League and with the chance of playing Final Four, because this was my first aim when I went there. It was a struggle because a lot of things were not clear. So if the championship will continue or not, if the players are able to go to another club, which country actually can accept these players. So all the transfer windows were closed, and I had a really problem to, I knock a lot of doors that they could open some exceptions to these players which are there, that they continue. And some of the players, they just decided to take some time off, which is also not nice. Some of them had used some rules from like a joker, for example, in the French league, or so it was really hard also to find a club at that moment which were playing Champions League. And when the situation is new, the organizations don't have answers, and they don't have and the time is just going. So it was a bit tricky actually, and I'm glad that in the end I was able to go to CSMA. They accepted me with open arms, and I had this great experience. Also, for me, I was always curious. I spent so long in Győr that I was always curious to see how other clubs function and how it is. So in one season, I get to see two clubs, and yeah, so it was 1 month, maybe and a half, really hard with a lot of decision to make. But after I was relieved, I was able to find something and finish in a positive way.
But was it clear in the beginning that you were just going to stay there for that season, or was there an option to be there for longer?
No, I wanted to finish my career, so this was very clear. And that's why I fight so much to go to another club and finish in Champions League, because I knew I didn't want to play one more season. This was already a bonus year, let's say, in my career. And I was very sure I didn't want it.
But in the end, you spent the most of your time in Győr, and I do think that this will probably be the club where your heart in the handball world is a little stuck to, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. I think that yes, I arrived very young. I was 19 years old to Kometal. I spent 3 years there, and after all my career, so I can say that all my best and maybe few worse moments were there. And I feel that, when I went there, it was a very familiar club, and they were having these steps to become even more professional. And in the end, you see all this development that you are there and also helping to achieve their goals. So yeah, it was a very happy career there. And I of course, Győr, the city, not just the club, my teammates, also the supporters, you still have a lot of, let's say, contact in Hungary. I still go many times to Hungary, and I don't believe that I will stop visiting that place, because of course it was I have a lot of good memories there.
So you do keep a lot of contacts from your former career, it seems.
Yes, I think handball is more than a game, and of course you always try to make friends, and you are privileged if you can make some friends along the way. Even though I was very focused, I didn't. I wanted always the result, and sometimes if necessary to not make friends, it was okay, because I had this aim. But of course, you get older, and you see that there are more important things, and you get along with more and more players. So, and I like this. I'm a very social person. If I can say something that I really miss from my career, it's like these moments where you go in the dressing room, you are laughing, you are gossiping, you are interacting. This I miss very much.
Oh, have you got dirty secrets to tell? Have you got some?
I'm a very loyal person, so I have a lot of secrets that I like to forget. It's better that I don't have the information.
Yeah, probably.
A team locker room is like a bunker. It's everything that happens inside, it never goes outside. So that's like an unwritten law.
Thomas, he knows very well.
We had Jesper Nødsbo on also, and after he stopped his career, he also had some offers from other clubs actually, because they missed the line player, stuff like. Did you receive any tempting offers after you actually said, okay, I'm done, I don't want to play anymore? Because now you said it was a little bit of a struggle finding, not a struggle, but hard to find a Champions League club, and you ended up in Chesham. But after you said, okay, now I'm done, did you still get some offers from other clubs that were tempting and that you maybe considered?
Yeah, I had received, of course, but as I said, I had so much share in my head that they were not tempting. Even it was like some of them were financially very good. Some of them were like from the the previous champion. So of course, yeah, it's just an honor to keep receiving these invitations, even if you're 36 in the end of your career. But no, I was quite sure it was the project family moment, and it was enough. I spent so long in your and the high level, you also get tired sometimes of this life.
Why am I the only ex-professional player who didn't receive offers after he retires,
Because you never switched clubs.
That's
You
true.
see?
That's true.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
true.
That's true.
That would have been awkward, right? To see me playing with another jersey.
Yeah,
But
true.
Victor also said in the last episode that he spent more time with Jesper Nødsbo because they were roommates. Who were you roommate when you played in Europe? Because it seems like you still have a great contact with the club, and you said the fans and your former players. You're visiting Katrine Lunde at the moment.
Yeah, but in year we had a very long period that Ambrose was changing all the time the roommates. So in the end I have a few times with Gurbit, sometimes with Jana also. Maybe Jana would be like the one who is in Vipers now, the right wing. But we were changing all the time, so we didn't have this this rule that you have to be all the time with the same partner.
And did you like that, or you didn't? Because
I
my
didn't mind.
Because my first years of career, Valero Rivera, he was doing the same in Barcelona, and first it was normal for me, but then when I tried to be always with the same roommate, I actually preferred that.
Okay. For me, what was the struggle if I get to go in the room with the Norwegian, because even if it's winter, they like to open the window. It's like, and it's 15, 14 degrees outside. It's like, no, I want a warm place. So in the end, I was asking Ambrosio, no Norwegians anymore for me. And also they didn't want to be with me because I wanted the warm room and they didn't like it.
Okay.
So you brought the Copacabana into your dressing rooms or into your sleeping rooms.
But one time it was really funny because I was with Ida Aastad and I was in the room with her, and then it was really cold. Okay, so first I was having this the siesta after the lunch, and I forgot the heating. And when she go in, it was like 30 degrees, and I said that even for me it's warm. And then after this episode, I say in the evening it was very cold. And then I just took the cat and I say, okay, let her be in a good day for tomorrow for the match. I will handle, no problem. I played the match and I got ill right away. And I said, okay. And then that was the moment that I say, no more Norwegian.
But in Denmark and Norway, they let the babies do their nap in the strollers outside, even during the winter.
Yeah.
So
true.
At minus 50 degrees.
Are you letting your baby outside?
No, I don't do that. We'll see now in the winter, how it will be, but I don't believe I'll do it.
Maybe let's have another look at your career, because it was very long, and especially for the Brazilian national team, you went through all the youth teams, and then you gave your professional debut in 2006, I think, and then 2021 it was when you took the step back and said, from the national team I am retiring right now. Was that a difficult step for you, because there must have been so many memories that you wrote together with these ladies?
Yeah, I think it was different generations and different moments, but in general, of course, I always enjoyed it. It was like a pride, to be in the national team. And for example, when we had until 2016, we had a really shining period. We had the best results, the world title, the 5th place in the Olympics of Rio. So this was a team that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed much more to be in, because we had the same mentality, because we were the same age, we had the same let's say, systems. We had the same like incentive from the coach. We believed that working hard, would get the results. So our focus was totally different when the generation changed. The younger generation, it's motivated by other things, and it doesn't mean anything bad. It's just that then we are different. And then the last years, it was not so easy to be there, because you are used to something, and then you expect something, and then you have something else. And 2021, actually, it was not that hard to step out, because also, if I always have been one leader inside the national team, and for me, if you are not able to understand what motivates them, you cannot lead them. And this, for me, I struggle a lot, because I wanted to get results in the national team. Some players, they would be happy just to be participating in Olympics, and I was aiming for the medal, and there is a big gap on that. And there is nothing bad of wanting to be first time in the Olympics, but I was always this extreme professional, and in the end, it didn't fit anymore. So I think I watch with a lot of love, all the years I had, but in the end, it was just a natural decision.
So what I'm reading between the lines, everybody was spending their spare time on TikTok, and you don't even use the app, or?
And I had to dance with them. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something in that direction. But
something that. Yeah.
you did celebrate some big trophies with the Brazilian national team, especially looking at the 2013 World Cup. We did have Barbara Arnhart on as a guest, and she told us that this competition brought a lot of attention to you guys. How did that attention develop throughout the years? What would you say?
Yeah, I think it was a big, how we call it in English, change of from before and after, change of course. I don't know how to explain. But for example, when I arrived in Europe, the respect was not so high towards me, because you are a Brazilian. There is not, you're not tradition in handball. Why they have to bring this player if we have another Hungarian players with more or less the same level? And then after the World Championship, the respect just it's swift. It's something so different, and also like not just individually, but for Brazilian handball in general, the clubs were more open to bring another players to. Before, they maybe would not watch a video of a Brazilian player to hire them, and after it just changed. So it was really a swift from before to after.
And I mean,
so much better, so much more positive.
You can probably absolutely relate to how it is to be selected for a European squad then, and to go over the ocean for the first time at a very young age. How was that for you? How was it to take that step away from your family, away from your friends, and off to a new chapter, off to a new adventure?
Yeah, I must admit that it was a lot of crying, for sure. It was not that easy. My mom had we are in three brothers, so one brother and two sisters, and two of the ladies, they went out. I was 15, my sister was 18. We went for São Paulo first, and after to Macedonia. So I think that these first steps are not easy, because it takes a lot of courage, to take this, to go to an unknown place, and to don't know what will happen. But I think my family was always a rock for me, so especially my mom. She was just go, if anything goes wrong, you have your house back. So I think that in the beginning it's always struggle to be far, and after I always had in my mind also what I wanted to be. Like since 14, 13 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a professional player. I knew that I wanted to play in Europe. So, and after you arrive in Europe, I wanted to be one of the best. So you just follow your dreams, and somehow you understand the fact that you are far. I actually miss much more them now, which is very funny, but it's true. I miss much, and I feel this that they are really far now in my normal life, let's say, than when I was a player.
Now that you have been talking about coming to Europe a little bit, your dreams as a kid, when you came to Europe, you stayed for a long time in Macedonia, then in Győr, and you have seen development through these years of handball. How do you see the development of women handball now that you are outside? How do you see the Champions League product has grown over the years, also with the Final Four in Budapest? How do you see the product of handball itself, the development?
Yeah, I think actually I don't understand. I always speak something that, for example, the women handball, it's a very good product. Everyone is interested in watching, and I think of course we could exploit more, and maybe we had better moments before because there were much more resources, and also the fact that we lose some Russian clubs in the Champions League, the level went a little bit down. So of course, after COVID, this is still it went down, let's say, in that period. And now I think we are raising again. We are bringing again the competitivity. Of course, social media is a big role right now because it's much more spread. We the product, for women handball, and now it's international. It's just not limited. Everyone is able to watch the matches. As you said, the Final Four. It's really interesting. They just broke the record of audience last season, so it just show that we are we are raising. I don't know to explain in English, and I still feel that we can exploit much more.
You experienced to play in Budapest as a home team with Győr. Do you see the women Final Four in any other location?
I think it would be healthy for the system to have another location, but I cannot complain about Budapest.
Because actually this is something I thought about many times about Köln, and at the beginning I said yes, it would be healthy, as you say, it would be healthy to have another location. But after some years, and now that I've been there as also working with TV or as a supporter, I would say that now it's good that it's in Köln because everybody is knowing where they go, and I think that the people who is going to Budapest year after year, they know which city are they going, which restaurants they want to visit, where is the arena. So all the supporters and all the fans, they already know the location. So and I don't know if in women handball, as Germany is in men handball, it would be like, okay, no matter what happens, it's around 15 to 16,000 spectators, So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would be possible in any other location. So that was
I understand
why
what you
I
are
asked
saying.
a little bit.
I understand. I think it becomes a brand, no? The place itself and also the event. And like people get this nostalgia feeling. I think for men, it would be okay to make in another location. But now that you say, I think that in women, we would struggle if you don't have like a Hungarian club. I don't know, maybe to take like to another center city like Ljubljana. We are not sure if we would gather so much supporters. But I don't know, the way I think that what I mean about being healthy for the system is that you also place more resources in another places, and you raise the interest in another places. When it stays the same, also, especially with the new generation, people, they get bored very easily. So I think that it sometimes they could also have another place, but this is just my opinion. As I said, I really enjoy Budapest, the event, and for me that I like to visit Hungary, it's good to stay there also.
How often do you visit the Final Fours?
Now I have been, I think, 2 or 3 times since I stopped. So I always like to go there and see my friends.
But to me, there's also a perspective in it from the men's and the women's. I couldn't imagine a EHF Final Four without Győr. So from a sports perspective, I don't know if Győr in some way get a little bit of an advantage that it's going to be played in Budapest. I think it's a little bit different on the men's side because usually you will see Kielce, Barcelona, Veszprém. Of course, you will also see some German teams there, but it's not for sure that they're actually around Cologne or Köln. So on that notice, maybe it would be easier to change them yeah, the men's and then still don't have an advantage. But yeah, in general, as long as it's a great event, well, and it's also hard to find a different location than Budapest, as you said. But yeah, besides that,
Yeah,
then
it's a tricky discussion. It's a tricky discussion for
yeah.
sure.
Especially that factor of playing a tournament at home. You were able to play one of the most impressive tournaments in the world in your home country. You were able to play at the Olympics 2016 in Rio de Janeiro. Actually, how did that feel for you?
Well, for me, Rio, I pressured too much myself, so it was not as pleasant and as I wished. But for our handball, it was very, very positive to have. We had a full house. I think that after football, we had the biggest number of supporters watching our game. So we had a really, really good effect. Like spreading the sport, inspiring people. So this, I think, it was very nice to be home, and also to. I think for me, maybe it was special to have family understandings. This, I think, it makes a big difference. But towards performance, I didn't like. So I have a bit twixt feeling about this Rio Olympics.
We have to congratulate Eduarda because last night Brazil just qualified. They won against Argentina in the Pan American for Paris 24. So Brazil is on the Olympics already.
That's
So
good. That's very
congratulations.
positive.
Do you see?
Yes.
Do you see yourself at some point having any role in the Brazilian Federation?
I think it's not that I don't. I think it would not. I didn't receive any invitations. If I have to be honest,
Okay.
so
Okay.
I think it's. I don't know how open they are to have someone with a different experience, with a different mentality. Because of course I don't think, and of course I will not work at the same way that some of things are happening. So it's always like when someone is pushing, they are the boring one, and I don't know. So I think I could see, but I don't know. For example, in which role. So it. I think it's just maybe a matter of time. It can happen in the future, but for now, that's not the wish, let's say.
Okay.
Especially someone with your experiences could help Brazil a lot. I do think so, because when we look back, you didn't just win the World Cup in 2013. You were even awarded as the MVP of the tournament. At first, how did that feel? How important was that for you? And where do you keep that trophy?
Yeah, it's at my place in Brazil. I think this was very special because I just had my ACL injury. So when I received this award, I was in a bit, let's say, low moment of my career that you're struggling to get back, and you always doubt if you are going to get as good as you were before the injury. And so when I received this, I was actually in Brazil making my rehabilitation there, and it was really, really special. It was just a boost of motivation for me in that moment.
How often are you still asked about that period of your career, especially about the World Cup?
Very often, especially from the Brazilian journalists and everything else. So from Brazil, I think we still live very much that moment. I think in Europe it's like win, just go on, win, just go on, But of course, this was a moment very special for Brazil. So I think we're going to speak longer and longer time about it.
Does that do something to you and your feeling about that trophy as well? Because it is something so important, especially for your home country. Where would you rank the World Cup trophy amongst all your other trophies that you won throughout your career?
Yeah, I think maybe it's top 3, top 5 for sure. Because it was something impossible to think when you started your career with the national team, and then it comes just a crazy Danish guy and say, as a coach, Morten Solberg, and say, yeah, you have to believe it. And it was so funny. The first meeting we had with them, he say like, do you believe that you can get a medal? And I was like, it was very honest from my side, but with our quality, no, we cannot get to the top of the world. And then we just get in our mind, it's like, just believe, just believe, just believe. So this was, and also it was a change of my career. I thought I was professional, maybe I was, but how much more professional I become with all the persons I worked with. So we had a nutritionist, we had a mental coach, so all these aspects, how I improve with time and how I could see that it was getting results. As much more you work, the more results you were getting, not just in the national team, but also in the club. So this was maybe like a game changer for my career as well. So that's why it's also so important.
As you,
go.
sorry, Bengt, as you said now that you got a lot of questions from Brazilian because you live from Brazilian media because you live still remembering this moment. And for a player like you and also some other of your teammates in the team Brazil who are playing in Europe for so long time, how different is the way Europeans and Brazilians see the sport itself? Because when you go to the national team, everybody's imagining the bus going with a little samba there. You are singing and this is something it's not happening in Europe. So how different it was for you to adapt to a new culture, and how can you explain us a little bit how different it is?
Yeah, I think it is different. We are in general a little bit more relaxed, and we allow ourselves to have these funny moments. But it's also difficult to find profiles which know now I'm working and now I'm relaxing. So this is the biggest difference. I think the European, they are much more focused in this way. I think that and for me it was also adaptation. When I come to Gior, I think that every nationality bring me something, to be even more focused on what I'm doing in that and taking the best of my career. I am here at Catherine's house, and I remember now because we were talking that, for example, in the beginning we were playing football as just a warming game. And she would get crazy if she didn't win. And I was like, what is she stressing so much about? And after in the end, I was the one screaming like, how you cannot fight in football, This means so much about you.
Yeah.
So I think that this was the difference that also I was adapting. And I see that, of course, the European handball, they are miles in front of us, in the professionalism way. And I think it was also nice to adapt and see that this working a lot get a lot of results.
Now that you say that about football, warming football, I always think that when you play in such a great teams like Gior in your case or Barcelona in my case, if a player doesn't want to win even when he's warming up, that's not a player for that team, And I was like,
yes.
like Katrine. I got really mad if I was not winning in warm up. Football, the game of 10 passes, or any other game, I was really mad.
I really become
Well,
like this, as you said. Yes.
Yeah.
I got so angry one time. Numbers called me and Catherine like, you are screening too much on the training. I cannot focus. But we were just like fighting to one team each other like in order to win.
Yeah, talking about that.
I totally get you. I totally get you.
Yeah.
Talking about that winning mentality. I find the timing very interesting of your Brazilian World Cup, because just the year before you had probably one of the toughest losses in your career when you lost the Champions League final, your first ever Champions League final, just on away goals. What did that loss do to you?
Yeah, I believe that, I arrived in Gior in 2009, and we were always in the top 4, but we would get close, but we would not win. And it happened a few times for them, but I think I also 1 year before we lost the semifinal. So it's like you work in a perfect way during all the season. When the most important matches come, you were not able to win. So this was really frustrating. That year, I lost the Champions League, which I truly believe, and we would get, And after I lost the quarterfinals in the Olympics in 2012 against Norway, we were winning the first half, and after the second half, they were able to turn over the result. And then this was the moment and the season I was like, I got enough, I don't want to, I work so much, I don't get anything, I don't get any title. Mom, I'm going to stop. That's it. It's enough. I don't have patience anymore. And she was like, Eduarda, just call me in 3 days and we're going to speak again. So, yeah.
So your mom knows you, huh?
She knows me. She knows me that I was just pissed off because of the moment after. I have the strength to start over.
Did you become even more hungry afterwards?
Yes. I arrived to a moment that I would consider as a good season if we win and a bad season if we lose. And doesn't matter what happened during the season. So, yeah, I get that hungry in handball.
And I mean, it did develop to, well, probably the best time of your career with the 5 Champions League titles and peaking in your individual performance with being nominated or being voted as the IHF World Player of the Year. Did you, for yourself, ever realize, oh, wow, what I'm doing here, I am the best handballer in the world right now?
I think that while you are playing, you don't realize that. You don't have time, I think. I don't know how it's for Thomas, but you don't have time to realize the thing. And I always, you think that you also know that it's a moment. And for me, it was also important to be good all the time, not just once and then finish, So for me, I think the focus was just to keep working and keep winning. And I think you realize more what you have done in the end of your career. And then it's like, wow, my curriculum is great, I cannot complain.
Actually, how did you celebrate that trophy and with who?
Yeah, which one? Which of them?
Your best individual trophy that you ever got, the IHF World Player of the Year.
I think that one was with my husband because we were in Brazil back then, but it was a big video call with my family. They were in south of Brazil, so yeah, I just went to dinner with him and with some friends I had in São Paulo. But I think I got like more party when we get the title, like the World Cup, and of course with the Champions League. I think that this was the best parties for sure.
Talking about individual titles, also you also won best defender, I think 5 times out of 6 years actually in the EHF Champions League. How was the mindset? I know you also scored a lot of goals, almost 700 on the national team as well. But how was your own mindset? About being a defender and also wanting to score goals. But did you put more like attention or effort into being a real great defender, or did it just come naturally?
I think for defense, it just came more naturally. It was just insight. I could read the player. Sometimes I could even say to my player, she's going to shoot next. It was just a natural talent, I think, for the defense. And also I had a great, Ambrose was my teacher. So I think also he teach me a lot about spacing and about positioning. But it was just something which come natural for the attack. Of course, I need to be like well trained in order to play good, and of course I needed to spend more time analyzing, and it was not as natural as the defense. But my wish was always to be let's say a complete player, and to be good both ways, and also to help my team whatever they need. So I feel that sometimes I needed to sacrifice and play better in defense. I did, and sometimes I needed to shine a little bit more in attack than I did. So yes, that was it.
And I mean, for your defensive skills, you were called into the Handball Hall of Fame of European handball. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I'm very thankful for that. This is a really big award. It's not every day, you get this recognition. So yeah, I was really proud to be there, among of the European names, also as a Brazilian and also even as a Hungarian citizen. It's something that it's a pride, to be there, to put your name in history. I think that time passes by and you just see how special it is.
It's only a few of them on that list.
And it's only a few of them actually arriving at the ceremonies to be awarded for the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Why
that's
didn't
true.
you come?
That's true. Oh, my baby. Yes, because
Ah,
I just
yeah,
had,
right.
I given birth to Idalina, my sweet girl.
Yeah, that's actually a good reason not to.
That's
not
a
to
good
be, right?
excuse, right?
Yeah,
That
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
we'll see next event. Maybe I'll be there.
You just got to be called into the Hall of Fame once again.
Yeah, no. I can just go there to watch. It's fun anyway.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Well, boys, we did steal your time for a lot of time already. We've been talking for almost 45 minutes. It seems like the time is flying once again. Have any of you guys got some questions left?
Oh, I think
No,
I
I'm
could
just
be.
curious. Yeah,
Go
about
ahead.
if you end up in a Vipers jersey because it's not going super well for Vipers yet, and you said about temping offers. So I don't know if Lund is trying to give you a Vipers jersey.
They're say to the return to the field. And yesterday we were joking around because they didn't have good moments in defense, and then they just looked to myself, just come and play a little bit, But no official offers. I'm just enjoying it.
This is the time to spread the rumors, guys.
In all the
This is how you start a rumor.
in every joke, it's a little part of truth,
We do have
You
that
never
saying
know,
in
huh?
Germany as well.
So if they
No,
joked
best
about
of
you
luck.
going there and defend in the center,
We'll see. We make another interview next time.
okay. I think we could be talking with Eduarda for a long time, but it was really nice to know more about you. It's always a pleasure to talk with such a handball star like you, legend. And
The majesty of the game.
thank you for being here with us at the Spin.
Yeah, it was really
Thank you.
fun interview. I could not realize that it was 45 minutes, so it means that it was very easy going. Thank you very much for the nice questions and for the interview. Yes, and yeah, that's it. See you next time.
Thanks for
Yeah.
your time. Catch you
Obrigado.
around.
Obrigada.
Yeah, well, what is there to say? Someone who didn't miss handball at all, but then in the next 4 seconds is already involved into 37 projects already.
But actually, we had Jesper Nodesbo, myself, retired, and now Eduarda. The three of us, we are telling almost the same. We don't miss to have the ball in our hands. We just miss the atmosphere of the team and the competition. But playing handball in such a great level, once you are out, it takes a lot, both mentally and physically to be back. So maybe, yeah, we are just not missing all that effort, both physically and mentally, to be there day in and day out. So I think that if we would ask 20, 50 more players, probably 90% of them would say the same.
I'd even go for more. That's what I feel after what we heard from our first retired players that we had as guests. But I mean, you can relate, you can understand. Not that every one of us and every one of you guys out there listening to the podcast has ever felt that, but you can always see how stressful it is and how intense a handball career is, especially handball. Compare it to other sports. Compare it to maybe the Big Brother football, where the players are always complaining with, oh, we need to play 3 games a week. And then you see handball players, they play a Final Four tournament in just 1 weekend. It's such a stressful sport, and it is very time consuming, and it is very intense. So I do think that in handball it does get even a little tougher than in other sports.
But I have to say that I realized all that when I retired, when my level of attention, just went down and I could relax, and then I felt, oh, that was heavy, that was intense, but. I didn't realize about that when I was playing because I felt it was so normal. It was my everyday life.
It's basically like when you are just in a year full of work, and then once you go on vacation, you just get sick. Just like the body realizes what it has been up to the last weeks and the last years. So yeah, it's absolutely.
But
I can understand.
I also think in general it has something to say that once you get a taste of the free time and actually you being able to control your time yourself, somebody else does not tell you when to show up, where to show up, and do it maybe not once, twice a day. You have to play a game, and you know that you're going to play matches from September until the end of June, and then you only have holidays whenever someone tells you that you have holidays. So actually, being in charge of your own time is probably also pretty nice when you actually get a taste of it after the life. Although some structure can also be really nice to have in the daily
to
life.
Adult life, Martin. You got to do your own decisions, and you got to structure
I'm just
your own
saying
day.
in general, there's a lot of talking in Denmark about identity crisis after handball, because people, who are they when they're not the handball player that they used to be? But also a lot of people are talking about, okay, actually me controlling my time self and doing what I want to do with because for the last people have been playing probably handball since they were 5, 6, 7 years old. So it's been a part of their life for more than 30 years. So it's a change in the life also. And that's something you have to have in mind also. It's not just going from one day to another. No, okay, now I'm not a handball player anymore.
Yeah,
I agree with you, and it's difficult to manage your own time when, as you said, you have been told the whole time or half of your life to be there at video session, to be there at training, to be there at lunch, to be there when the bus is leaving. So it's quite difficult, and it takes some time after handball to find your place in the world again. To find your everyday motivation. Okay, what am I waking up every day for? So yeah, I agree 100% with what you said.
Totally.
For the first time, Martin.
Hey, for the first time, Martin and Victor are agreeing on one opinion. I could talk about that for a lot longer time as well, but I need to push it a little here because we do have that studio that we're recording in being used in a bit, and that's why we got to talk about what happened this week and what happened the past weekend, because right now we are recording on Monday. We didn't even talk about that already, but that brings us one huge benefit. We can finally talk about what happened this week in the EHF Champions League Women. And I do have a headline for this weekend. It was the weekend of momentum switches.
Yeah, true. There were some results that, you're probably going to mention the FTC against ECAS, because ECAS was one of the teams that were unbeaten before, but they lost against FTC. I remember Kiel won it. So against Paris Saint-Germain. Barcelona, Victor knows about it. Yeah, we spoke about it in the last episode, that if there was a team that probably should beat Barcelona, it will be West Brom. And so it's an interesting round, but it's also Champions League, and it's not that often that we see teams go unbeaten. And now Cure is the only team left.
Yeah, that is true, because we can start it with the other team that was unbeaten before this weekend. Actually, there were two teams that were unbeaten, but they both suffered a defeat. But let's start it with Bietigheim, because history might repeat itself. At least it did for the first 6 matches. Bietigheim travels to Odense. Bietigheim is on a 5-game winning run. They started flawlessly into the Champions League season. Odense is a huge mountain to climb. Bietigheim loses, and so far you can do a copy-paste version of the last season onto this season. But last season that kickstarted the downward spiral for Bietigheim. They actually ended up losing their next 8 games after that Odense match. So, Victor, what do you think? Is the risk high that history will repeat itself in that manner as well?
I don't think so, honestly, because I think that once something happened to you, you have to learn from it, and I'm sure that Bietigheim, because they didn't change that much, so a lot of people there has the last season in their minds. Of course, the result was a bit too much because, of course, losing by 13 goals, it's never good. So going back from that, it would take good effort. And also, I don't think it's going to happen the same because probably injuries, they will respect more BTK this season. So let's say they had a bad game. Odense, as you said, it's a big mountain to climb. They are playing better and better every day with a new coach. So yeah, I don't think it's going to repeat the same history as last season for BTK.
But actually, what is it that Bietigheim has with the Danish sides, Martin?
Yeah, well, I have to say that I have Odense as a favorite, although that maybe that Odense is, I wouldn't call it the tough opponent for Bickenheim, but I also knew that they drawed in the German league against, or was it 3 or 4 days before they played against Odense, and then coming to us, and as Victor said, losing with 13 goals is obviously too much. But when you concede 24 in second half, if I remember correctly, then it's normally gonna be a big loss when you concede so many goals. Why are the German team struggling? In general, the quick answer would be for me that I find the Danish league better than the German league. So, of course, the top teams in Denmark have to compete and be better than the Germans want, as it is at the moment.
But I mean, you said it. You had Odense as one of the favorites all the time. I do think that we arrived at the point where we need to count Odense in the circle of the favorites, because when we look at their season, it's going quite all right as well. Only 2 losses, one in the very first match against Chesame Bucuresti, and then one against the unbeaten Győr. So Odense, they are hitting the ground running in the Champions League, and it is looking all right.
It is interesting with Odense because to me, I don't know, maybe the answer to what's wrong with Vipers, but also why is Odense going so well? Maybe the answer is not, on the court. Maybe it's the coach, Ole Kjekstad, or how you would say it in Norwegian. Probably it looks like Vipers is struggling. Is he the answer to why they're struggling? Odense is doing so well. Maybe there is, and it's always hard to say when do a new coach, how do you say that, get to prove how the handball he want to play with the players that are in the club. We saw it with FTC as well. After in the press release, they said mutual agreement with and got the assistant coach. They've been winning against ECAST, and they had I would say, a loss against Esbjerg that you could accept, and they didn't lose with 20 goals as they did before the coach left. So yeah, maybe the answer is not on the court but off the court as well.
I agree that Ole is playing a big role in Odense, but I wouldn't say that's of course he won 3 Champions League in a row with Vipers, so who am I to say that's not the reason? But I don't think that's the reason. Of course, he's amazing coach, and I think that's a big reason why Odense is doing so well now. But I think that also we have to take in mind that in Vipers, so many important players have left in the last years. It was Henny Reistad, it was Nora Morg, it was Marketa Raketa. So it's difficult to overcome all this for Vipers.
But actually, you have been talking about those 3 Champions League titles. Is the Vipers supremacy about to fall? What do you think?
What I think is that they are very close. So all the games that they are losing, the games, it can go both sides. It's like some clutch moment where they lose one ball, where it's a bad shoot or a save of the goalkeeper, something like that. And I think that Vipers is there. They have lost against Metz this week. As we said, for Martin Metz, it's one of the favorites for the Final Four and for the championship. So I think that Vipers, the good thing with Vipers, with all the changes and everything, they are competing. It's not like the first game of FTC, for example. They are competing.
Yeah.
They are in the games. They can win the games, and I think that eventually the games will, the victories will arrive.
As you said, I'm glad for my prediction that Mets won, but maybe the answer is also that we just spoke with Amorim that the woman that she's visiting, Katrine Lunde, I don't think she even played the game against Mets. So, and to me, one of the best goalkeepers when they're missing out, that does also have something to say. And conceding 36 goals at home is usually not what Vipers do whenever they play in Norway.
But on the other hand, you have just talked about it, Victoria. FTC, they are finally on the winning board. They finally won their first match. Super surprising, it was against probably one of the teams of the current hour, ECAST. And I was super surprised when I saw the result, when it stated FTC finally took home their first victory. But eventually, you could really feel that they were playing more free than they used to, than they were at the beginning of the season. Was that the coach's effect?
This is something quite normal that is happening when a team is going for a bad streak. The coach changes, and then the players, they have nothing to lose, because it couldn't go worse than the beginning of the season. When you see the game, players like Andrea Lekic or Kluber, they looked, as you say, without any pressure. Also Emily Volk, they scored so many goals, and when the goalkeeper, it's making more saves with Blanca Viró than the other team in ICAS from Irma Schott. So I think this is something quite normal when there is a change of coach, and I hope to see FTC going up, because actually they have an amazing roster, and I think that, as we all said last season, the Final Four with them, it was even more crazy. So I really expect them to have more wins now.
Yeah, and especially after that relief, you did talk about those players having looked like it was a little easier to be on the pitch. I liked one scene where Angela Malestein scored the last goal of the first half, and she was really smiling from the bottom of her heart. You could really feel that she was like, well, there's something happening right here. And you can see that they simply outscored ECAST. The defense wasn't super stable still, because they conceded 36 goals, but they outscored them with 37 goals, and that's especially interesting if you look at the season so far. The most that they scored was 26 goals so far, and now they outscore ECAST with 37 goals. That was massive.
I was also a little bit like, okay, how did they actually beat ECAS? But think without being too rude, I also think that FTC is a little bit more relying on the starting seven that probably some of the other top teams. And then I had to look at also the goal scorers. Kloivert delivered, Lekic delivered. You said it, Thomas, also that Bulk was delivering. Malestein, normally she's scoring goals whenever she wants to. And then you have Svivic on the Serbian Mafia with Svivic and Lekic also was functioning really well. So in Kreta Maton also on the other wing. So Tomori, to me, they're really relying on the key players for them to deliver, and they did in this game. So probably some of the answers in that, because without being rude, I think some of the other teams are normally capable of changing and substituting some players without going too much down in the level.
Yeah, totally. Victor, do you recall being on a longer losing streak with Barcelona? That almost seems impossible, to be fair. But then having a victory that you didn't see coming?
Actually not. No. No. I think that we haven't lost with Barcelona 2 games in a row ever. So I think the dynamics it's really, really difficult to change them. We haven't lost 2 games in a row. Maybe it happened 1 time, 2 times in my career. I say thank you for that. But when you lose 1 game in a club like Barcelona, it's like a big crisis. It seems like the whole project is falling apart. And then if in the next game you are not playing really good, then you still have the same feeling that everything is going wrong. And to change these dynamics is really difficult. And once you are able to do it and the confidence is in your mind again, then now I think FTC it's a dangerous team.
Yeah, most definitely. The momentum, just like I said, it might have switched, and FTC might be able to come back to full strength, and the table doesn't even look too terrifying right now. So they're at 3 points. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say maybe they were also extra motivated by seeing that Rapid Bucharesti, they won against Krim Ljubljana, because if they didn't win there, then there would be some points behind and, securing the last spot. So they were also a little bit forced, to get some points, because now they're closing in the gap that there were before Rapid, which also to me a little bit surprised that they were capable of winning against Krim, because Ljubljana, they've been doing amazing so far this season, although they lost with 1 goal against ECAST.
Yeah, and now it's, if I'm not informed wrongly, it's 3 games in a row that Krim didn't win, actually. They lost the one against ECAST, they drew against Vipers, and now they lost against Rapid Bucharesti. They gotta get back on the winning track if they want to secure one of the top 2 spots in the group.
Yes.
Yeah, if that's the goal.
Well, eventually
but that
you
group
wouldn't say no to it, would you?
Yes, for sure.
That group is very tight. Now that ECAS has lost their first game, let's see how they come up from the first defeat. Then Esbjerg, they have 10 points, Mets 8 points, Krim 7 points, Vipers 5, Rapid 5. I think the double match between Vipers and Rapid, that will be something cool to watch for handball fans. And I think that Krim, they have maybe to find again this happiness, the way they were playing in the first games. They looked fresh. I don't know how to say. When we spoke with Babi, she said, I really like the mentality of the coach. So maybe
freely.
Yeah, maybe they have to find this I don't know, momentum again, which is difficult. But of course, I think I wouldn't bet in any teams now to be in the top 2, because that's so tight.
It is a game of runs right now in the EHF Champions League Women, and that's what makes it super tight, and that's what makes it super interesting. I have a proposal for you guys. Let's do the Champions League Men next week. Let's do the Machine Seeker EHF Champions League next week, because today we just have the episode in the name of women, because we just talked about the Champions League Women, the EHF Champions League Women, and had a glorious guest on with Eduarda, and that's why I would say let's cut it right here, don't we?
I'm okay with that. Then I don't have to speak about what happened last week in Palau Blaugrana.
I am absolutely going to come back to you for that. But we don't have Machine Seeker EHF Champions League action next week anyways. And that's why we are very relaxed to go on and head into a little break. Let's just keep the topics for the next week. But Martin, you might not record from home, or are you? Where are you off to this weekend?
First day I'm going to Qatar to play with the national team, a tournament that's you play something called a global tour, and when you win that one with the national team, it's a 4-nation. Then you play against the others who won there. So Brazil, Qatar, and Tunisia will be there. So I'm gonna be in Qatar from first day until Sunday.
Did you lose your tan already, or why do you need to get re-tanned in Qatar? Wasn't Porto Santo enough? Such a show
Oh,
off.
wow. I'm half Spanish, as you can tell,
Well, that's not what your skin color is saying.
At what point during the podcast it was something in Martin's face on your right side, you know? It looked it was
It
sun
was sun,
going through
yeah.
the through the
It
window,
was.
you know? Yeah.
It was insane because it's been raining all day, and I was like, "Why is the sun coming now?" Exactly when I'm recording. Yeah, actually the weather in Denmark is really bad at the moment. Wind and rain, and especially then we record, and then the sun showed up. I don't know where it came from. Normally, it's
But
not there in November.
but I have to ask, how is your back pain, Martin? Because you have been with your medal hanging in the neck for the whole week, you know? How does it goes? How does it goes?
You tell me. You know how it feels, Victor.
Look how embarrassed he is. Look how embarrassed he is. You shouldn't be.
Oh.
You're still the champion of the champions, Martin.
Yes, you
True,
are.
and hopefully when we record next time, I will have another medal. Let's hope for that.
Then
And
what title can we put to that medal? What's the name of competition exactly?
It's an EHF competition, so maybe it's the wrong marketing to do on the channel.
World champion, you know.
No, but yeah, it's just called the Global Tour.
You are a
Within
global
national
champion.
teams,
You will be a global champion.
yeah, global champion.
Well, it's just a matter of
We
time
go
until
with
you
the
are
global
Mr.
champion.
Universe.
So that's
Well,
let's
that
say
means I
that's
have
the
to do
super-
like Jesper Nødsbo. Then I have to drop some clothes.
Yeah. Let's say that this tournament it's the Super Globe of beach handball.
Exactly. I was about to say it, actually. I thought about it, just for national teams. That's a good one. Actually, the ones who don't know, I also played once Super Global indoor, actually. So not against you, Victor. Not against
What?
you. Yeah, it's true.
On the PlayStation or where?
No. I actually played, and not to remember, it was when Barcelona lost against Magdeburg in the final 2 years ago, I think.
So you got transferred to New York?
Yeah, I got transferred to America. Me and my brother.
Oh my god.
Oh, well. Well, then I would say, Martin, best of luck for you on your beach handball tournament.
I actually have two other stories. I don't know if we should wait for them at a time, but I also played a handball game this last Thursday. We won, and whenever you do good, then you normally, the people, your opponent, they do man marking. So whenever you score too many goals, they go. And he said to me, I have to tell you, it's a really nice podcast you're doing. So just wanted to give you a short shout out. He said it to me, and I said, yeah, I got some great colleagues.
During the game. That was during the game? Oh, yeah.
It was during the game.
Okay.
Basically,
he was chit-chatting.
defending man to man.
Martin was just showing off that he was man-marked because he was too good, and then there were two opponents taking care of him.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's only the first best in Denmark, so it's nothing to brag about. But I just wanted to say that it was really nice to hear someone else that they actually like what we're talking about, and by that's it's a little bit a nice story to tell.
Definitely. Shout outs to Martin's opponents, man marking him and telling him about his podcast. That's great. You love to hear it. And then thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you, boys, for your time once more. And then Martin, have a safe flight to Qatar. Overperform once again, because next week I want to introduce you once again with We Are Red, We Are White, We Are Danish Dynamite.
It will be more difficult for you if you win to get a beer there.
For now,
thank you, guys.
Let's keep it here. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Victor. And then I would say we will hear each other again next week when it's time to talk handball again.
Ball across to Dylan Nahi, double in flight. Oh, what a start!
Ooh, into the net.
She does it again.
Van Dijkenberg on the shot.